This edition of CropLife Retail Week is brought to you by the Tech Hub Live Conference and Expo, July 20th and 21st at the Iowa Events Center in Des Moines. For full information, visit techhublive.com. Hello again, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf here with Eric Sfiligoj. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, sir. Our undisclosed locations are a little damp today. We actually got a little rain going on in the area, and for early June, it's inordinately chilly. I actually had to put on a windbreaker when I went out this morning, which wouldn't have expected on a early June day in Cleveland. It's usually a little warmer than that. So,
yeah, you have been hearing a lot of that, and I talked to Dr. John Fulton down at Ohio State today. They're getting some rain. Which I think is welcome. They got through planting. It looks like planting's pretty much at the high 90% across the Midwest, which is terrific. Glad everybody's got crop in the ground. And John reports the same in Ohio, so that's good news. But for us lay people here in the city, it's just another rainy day.
Yes, but and it's a good thing we're getting this here too, because I know we have an editor of ours that works out in the great state of California, and I guess they're having no moisture out there whatsoever. And I was reading the other day that a lot of farmers are actually wondering if they should even bother planting or just call it a season already. And early June, I wouldn't have expected that, but we'll have to keep up on that. I guess not drought conditions in California, unfortunately.
Yep, certainly things don't look pretty. So. You want to start off, sir?
Yeah, well, I actually got some big news. Kind of broke last week just as we were putting the video together, so didn't touch on it. But you may remember, Paul, that, maybe a year and a half ago, there was an announcement that our friends at Bayer had reached a settlement agreement to try to take care of all the glyphosate lawsuits they had in the market. They had put aside about $10 billion, and they were hoping that was going to cover things and basically take care of those issues in court. But we found out last week that a judge in the case has actually said that he's rejected the settlement. So it's a no-go. So Bayer is actually having to start over. I know they released a statement saying they now are putting in place a 5-point plan, which will include more education from the company on glyphosate and Roundup. Also looking at working with their legal team to try to take care of some of the lawsuits, I guess more on an individual basis rather as in a group. But two things to mention from that 5-point plan. The one thing was that they said that with the cases that have already gone to court and had judgments rendered, that they are going to appeal those, and if they have to, they're going to take them all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court for the appeal process. And the second, more interesting thing I thought in that 5-point item was that they're discussing with their partners whether or not Roundup will be available for the residential market. They're saying it'll continue to be an ag product and for lawn and turf, but that, for average consumers, perhaps Roundup will go away. So I guess they will have to keep on top of that to see when a final decision actually is made.
Yeah, it is quite a juxtaposition when you sit home, watch television, and see the glyphosate lawsuit ads, and then you go to Home Depot and see giant kiosks of Roundup. I wonder if anybody sees the connection at all or even thinks about it. It's not surprising, and this is just going to continue to churn, and we'll see how it comes out, but certainly some probably nervous news as far as that technology goes.
Yeah, well, and along those lines, actually, we found out our friends at the Agricultural Retailers Association shared an item with me the other day where they said that EPA is now asking for the chance to review and possibly revise the interim decision to re-register glyphosate that was handed down in 2020. At this point, there's really no consensus on what they're looking to perhaps change or alter with the re-registration. But they've made it clear, EPA has, that they're not going to be looking at the human health issue factor. They've already ruled on that it's safe. and that no matter what happens with this decision, that glyphosate will continue to be available for the farming community and for growers to use in their fields. So, again, Paul, stay tuned. It was interesting that glyphosate kind of went away from the news there for a little while, but now we had like 2 stories break within the last 7 days. So maybe we're getting back to normal, unfortunately, on this front, which I don't know if necessarily that's a good thing.
Yeah, I know, that's tough news. So, I know you had one other thing. I just noted, too, late last week, something that happened under the wire on the technology side. And, obviously we're doing the Tech Hub Live conference, and we've asserted it's going to be an interesting summer, I think, for collaborations and technology moving forward. So, AGCO entered into a targeted spraying technology collaboration with Bosch, BASF Digital Farming, and Raven. So we got 3 companies and diverse with diverse interests, all looking to create a technology that gets to targeted spraying. I think we've actually seen a lot of news, I think, from Europe and maybe other places as well about herbicide-free or herbicide and no herbicide weed control through either some kind of electronic or mechanical removal of the weeds. The companies, the herbicide companies, are going to try to hone in on using the minimum herbicide possible to actually control the weed and identify and have a really good story to tell that hopefully reduces herbicide use and improves use of technology. But there's 4 companies getting together, seeing the promise of improving how we apply herbicides and doing something better. So it'll be interesting to see what comes to that. I'm sure it'll be some time in the making, but interesting bedfellows, interesting collaborations coming.
Yeah, it sounds interesting, Paul. I know later this fall, actually, we're planning to hold a PACE executive forum in Kansas City with a couple of our industry friends and folks who are interested. And I'm sure, some of the current events we're talking about here on the video, the whole issues revolving around herbicide use around the globe and, supply shortages in the marketplace and price increases and transportation issues. Sure, we're going to all bring up all those topics among many others that'll be taking place there at the end of October. So,
absolutely, sir. So I think you had at least one more news item, yes?
Well, actually, this is your favorite segment, Paul. It's time for another edition of Fun with Numbers. Now, I'll let you know, Paul. Most of the folks out in the field are loving the segment. But they've actually criticized me for not giving you more of a chance to get these numbers correct, or at least the answers to what the numbers represent. So I have been asked by our viewers if I could maybe give you a clue to kind of help you along so that you're not just flying blind trying to throw out a topic to go along with the number I'm hitting you with. So
the rest of the industry knows how stupid I am, and I don't understand that you don't know how stupid I am. But what's wrong with you? This guy needs help. Can you give him help?
Well, again, it was a little unfair of me to just throw out a number and expect you to piece it together. I mean, that was a little of a stretch. So hopefully this week you'll be doing a little bit better, and I'm going to give you a clue before we go there. So the number is 8, and it's 8%, Paul. Now, the clue for that is this is something that we've talked about a lot in the videos this year, and you actually brought it up as an incorrect guess last week, but this week, if you guess that topic, you will be absolutely 100% correct. So 8%, Paul, what do you think it represents?
Increase in exports to China. Wrong.
Yeah, see, now this one, okay, I'll give you partial credit. It is on exports, all right?
All right.
8%. All right, that's the number. So in 2021, U.S. farm exports, and that includes meat, soybeans, and corn in particular, is on pace to hit $164 billion. That will top the previous record, which was $152 billion, which was achieved in 2014. The 8%, that is an 8% increase over 2014's record U.S. Exports to the world. So there you go. It's the export market from the U.S. to other countries, including China, on pace for a record amount of revenue come here in the end of 2021. So congratulations, Paul. You kind of got that.
I'm going to get a buzzer and a ding at the same time. I think I'm sure our video guy is going to be.
No. Like I said, I'm sure our videographer will give you a nice ding. And congratulations. So yeah, like I said, you guessed exports last week. So this week you said imports, exports. I'm giving you a pass. Same difference.
Don't feel a bit smarter, but thanks. Anyway.
Yeah. Now, did you have something else to share? I know you had. We were talking a little bit off camera about one of our guest authors and something they put together for us that's now online and will be in print hopefully in the next month or two.
Yeah, and you can catch it on CropLife.com. Maybe we can put a link up here. Jim Budzinski, who's really a long-time friend of ours in the industry, who's written a lot of interesting pieces for us, used his COVID time off to not only get himself into tremendous shape, actually, congratulations to him on that, but also to write up a piece called The COVID Pivot. And it's really a good think piece talking about where agriculture is going to be headed, looking once we come out of COVID and get into the 2022 season and beyond. Some of the things that we really need to get after. I encourage you all to take a look at it. It's good, probably 10-minute read or so. It goes into pretty good detail, and there's a nice chart with it as well. I won't try to summarize it. There's just too much meat there, but we'd love to have everyone who is moved to respond to kind of share your thoughts with us. We're certainly going to use some of this, if not all of it, to help shape some of the content that we do at the PACE Executive Forum in October in Kansas City. But really was a good kickoff, and thanks to Jim for his contribution. And he's also on the PACE Advisory Council, so he'll be advising us on the meeting content as well. So thanks to Jim. Enjoy reading that, and we'll look forward to more contributions in the future.
Very good. Yeah, I read a piece myself. I thought it was very informative. And like I say, if you catch it online, great. And if not, if you want to see its full focus, probably check out one of our summer issues.
All right. Well, that's it for this edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Thanks for only giving me one question so I could bat 1,000. I appreciate that, too. And God knows what we'll be doing next week, but we will see you next week.
If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below.
Your feedback is important to us. We'll try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.